Welcome back. The federal government has described as fake news some reports on social media that the third mainland bridge in Lagos is shaking and has opened up in places, describing it as baseless and driven by ulterior motives. According to the Federal Controller of Works for Lagos State, Olukorede Kesha, who spoke with while touring the bridge with journalists on Thursday, the messages in question were false and should be disregarded. In her words, the rumor is the handiwork of mischief columnists, those who are idle and those who think that the political atmosphere is too quiet for them. Rise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the need for tougher measures to tackle fake news and curb the spread of public panic in the wake of this latest developments. Good to have you with us, Mr. Sobowale. Good afternoon. Now, if you remember, Mr. Sobowale, sometime last year, there was a major overhaul of the same third mainland bridge. At least we saw, resurfacing of the roads, the asphalt and what have you, and other logistics as well. And one wonders why this should be coming up. And then again, when it comes to bridges, at some point, due to the nature of their designs, when they said it's shaking because of the wind and what have you, sometimes bridges are allowed to shake because of the nature of their, designs, as it were. So I would like your context in all of this.
But that question shows that you are taken in by the rumor.
I'm not taken in by the rumor.
Yeah, because
but
that's what
I'm just trying to highlight exactly the background.
This is public official in charge
has already said no.
To refute. You get me? And she took people up and down. That's verification. Then some time ago we discussed BBC Verified. And you say, I don't want to say that now. You see, the social media is causing confusion in terms of misinformation and disinformation. That is a known fact now, and this is one of them. Okay. But what I didn't like about the answer of the official is that these social media things have been done by columnists. Columnists don't do that sort of thing. You are a columnist and your name is to something, you verify before you. So maybe she's not familiar with the media. Those who do these things are people who use the phone to entertain themselves, to get connection, to harvest fake news, and then multiply it and let it go viral. And it is causing confusion all over. So what she has done is verification, take people around, and to allay people's fears. You get me? And then you see, you are not strangers to our politics. You know how people exaggerate, especially the side that lost the election, and how criticism literally crippled governance. But it seems you are getting out of that now. But that is what they are getting into in South Korea now. And there is immobility in their governance. They are trying to jail their president by all means, for the simple reason that he said they never allowed him to function after he lost the election. So he just tried to threaten them with emergency laws, and they say he must be impeached. And they've been demonstrating ever since. You see, misinformation can cause wars. You get me? It can create havoc and panic. Yeah. See, I don't want to mention the US yet, but you see, if you look at the sequence of political events after the death of George Floyd, you get me? 2020, that led to Black Lives Matter. And I'm telling you, that led to the election of Joe Biden. You get me? And the protest movement all over that. And they came to this place. Our NSAS, the NSAS,
even during the elections as well.
That's right. It influenced our election. That is how the obedience came in. You can't deny it. You see, they made, they created the performance that nobody expected. But it is based on this protest movement. But you see, everything that has a beginning must have an end. In the US, it has had its end with the defeat of the Biden administration. If the Trump administration too overreaches its hands and makes life difficult for people, the next election they will deal with him. You get me? It is because the Biden administration overstretched his hand on sexual orientation, anti-abortion, and all that. Yeah. And people thought, okay, you cannot eat and drink, so it is sex that you eat. They voted them out. They voted them out. See, I like this sort of thing. But democracy should be based on facts, not on misinformation or disinformation. Yeah. Maybe I should live on that. The World Economic Forum, I just read something of recent, just said the major threat to global peace in the next 2 years is disinformation and misinformation.
Absolutely. Right. Mr. Sobowale, I appreciate the vast analysis you've done so far, from South Korea to the United States to relating to George Floyd, bringing it back to NSAS and now the Economic Forum. But one of the things that you mentioned is that misinformation can cause wars, wreak havoc, and panic. That's a fact. So based on that, should Nigeria consider criminal penalties for those who intentionally spread false information about critical public structures? I'm sure we have it already. If not, cyber security, you do not have. That one is even more dangerous. If you sabotage our electrical system, our water system, our health system, our banking system, that's even more dangerous than even physical assault. But you see, that's what the terrorists are doing in the north. They are taking down transmission lines so that people do not have electricity, and in the darkness they can commit havoc and disable government. So there must be deterrence, and of course, government is at it. That's why we have a digital economy. We have a ministry in charge of digital activities. Yeah. It is from there that you will have the equipment, the technology to monitor this sort of. But it is the law enforcement agencies that do have to handle the criminal side of it, and they must. It's not that they are criminalizing; they must find out how those things affect society and take proper action to make sure such people are prosecuted and given punishment that will deter those who want to emulate them in the social media. It's been done all over the world. It's been done all over the world. It's only, you see, disinformation and misinformation is entering into the realm of politics and affecting elections. You get me? It's affecting elections, and because people distort the mood of the electorate in ways that suit them. With the Americans, it's Russia they are afraid of, and China influencing their. In our own area here, you have a robust opposition. Yep. You see our newspapers. Look at the headlines. They are most exaggerations of simple issues that can be fixed just by cross-checking and making the facts available.
All right, briefly, Mr. Sobowale, you've housed on the challenges therein regarding, there's more freedom when it comes to social media. So there's been calls for regulation. There's been calls for regulation of social media itself. What we have in mainstream media, as it were. But how feasible is that? That laxity, as you've also mentioned as well. Because we've seen scenarios even when governments in China, for example, they have total bans on some.
But you want to be like China.
Well, we can't. I'm just saying that.
Yes, I'm telling you something. See, these things don't exist in the vacuum. You see, the protests that started with the George Floyd era, defunding the police and all that. All the states that did it have regretted it because they had so much crime, and that was why the elections swung the way it did in the U.S. We are having our own election in 2027. You see, the electorate is not dumb or deaf. They will watch how parties behave, how they deliver in the various state governments, at the center, even at the center, at the local government level, when they get their autonomy. And that's the beauty of, if they perform, they will be rewarded. If they don't perform in a free and fair election, they will be booted out. That's it. But you see, essentially, we must. It is not us alone. You know the digital technology is so readily available and accessible, and its strength is in the speed with which you can disseminate information. But the danger is in that speed too, of spreading fake news
Yeah.
and wreaking havoc before. It must be named in the board. That means it must be named in the board. Okay. The security agencies and the authorities in charge of law and order must be up and doing, and must have experts to be able to identify this subtle distortion of facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful analysis as always. We'd like to thank you for your time. Arise News analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.